Hey, how's it going? It's Colin Daniel from riffninja.com. Here to you're a beginner, I hope. Yeah, because I'm here to teach a beginner the basic blues chords. Your first 3 blues chords. These are great chords. There's like hundreds of songs that work from them. They can be applied in a 12 bar. I'm going to go through the chords first, and then I'll show you how to put it into a 12 bar and make sweet blues music. All right. So the first chord is E7. This is the easiest way to play it. Use your first finger. If you're a real beginner and you don't know the string numbers, I guess I better remind you. It's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, right? 6, the biggest number, thickest string, right? Okay. Thinnest string, smallest number, 1. Just as a reminder. I'm assuming you already know that, but if you don't, there you go. And your fingers on your left hand, 1, 2, 3, you know. They don't count the thumb. I do. I use my thumb. And you can. There's no law that says you can't. Use whatever you got. If you have 6 fingers, then use your 6th finger too, even though it doesn't say that in the chart. All right, yeah, you know, I wonder if I can graft Jimi Hendrix's finger onto my... Nah, maybe not. Well, you know, technology is getting better. So here's your E7th chord. It's just a dream of mine, you know, have an extra finger. Because can you imagine? The E7th, this is the 1 chord, the number 1 chord, the key chord. First finger is on the 3rd string. That's from the bottom up, 1, 2, 3. And that's on the 1st fret. These little funny wire things that go across your fretboard on your guitar, the metal things are frets, right? So that's 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, right? So that's 3rd string, 1, 2, 3, 3rd string, 1st fret. Okay, and that's with my 1st finger. With my 2nd finger, I'm going to go to the 5th string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2nd from the top. And press down, right? Now the trick is with all these chords is like, depending on the size of your hand, you might be able to wrap your whole hand around and you can touch the back of the neck or whatever, right? But for those of you that have smaller hands, you might want to throw your thumb more around to the back like that. Can you see that? I hope you can. Right there. Okay, and center your thumb. Don't drag it back there. Don't push it too far forward. Find that comfortable spot. Nice comfortable spot there. I play E7th about 5 or 6 different ways. There's even a 6th, but this is the easiest way for a beginner. And when you practice your chords, you know, you have to kind of go through them and pick through the strings until you get them all clear. You know, sometimes you'll have a problem with, say, the 2nd finger, if you've got a real meaty finger, catching the string underneath it. And you have to, that's where you have to arc your hand just right to get it. There's your E7th, right? If I twist my hand up too far, then the flesh of my fingers are going to catch the strings below them and mute them out. And you want all 6 strings for this chord. Nice sounding chord. It's not that hard. Really good sounding chord. The next chord is an A7th. And to make it really easy for you, I'm going to tell you to play it with your 2nd and your 3rd finger. Use your 2nd and your 3rd finger. That's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Pinky's the low man out. And for this A7, see, the blues uses a lot of 7th chords. This isn't a true major chord, and it's not a true minor chord. It's what I call a fence sitter chord. It means that it could be either major or minor. In the blues, we use it as a minor chord. So this is what it sounds like. We use 5 strings on this, and our 2nd finger is down on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and our 3rd finger is on the 2nd string, 2nd fret. And again, same trick there. Watch out for your fingers. If you don't have a really big hand, then you have to move it back to clear, because you want your fingers to come in a nice, you want that last joint of your finger to come straight down on the fingerboard so it's not arced. If it's arced and tilted over, you're going to struggle with it, right? And that's in your wrists and your thumb action. If you watch my wrist and my thumb how it's coming back. I'm over exaggerating it, of course, because I don't know what your physical limitations are, or I can't see you. You can see me, but I can't see you. Maybe I can see you, and you just don't know, eh? Maybe that's why they call me the Riff Ninja, eh? So I have to kind of cover all these different bases with you, and that's why. But the main trick is that if the fingers are fairly close to straight down, then you have to make just minor adjustments, like move your fingers around a little bit till you find that sweet spot. Now the hardest chord out of this whole bunch is the next chord. So another thing you can do for yourself is practice, and going from E7 to A7 isn't bad at all. You can forget the strumming for a minute and just practice your fingering, you know, concentrating on moving your fingers as smoothly and as efficiently as possible. Notice I'm going from the E7th to the A7th and back like that, right? Okay, so you can practice that. The most difficult chord of all is the B7. And it's a 5-string chord. We don't use the low E. And I can simplify it for you. I can simplify it for you a little bit. But in the end, you want to use all 4 fingers if you can. There really isn't a more simpler way to do that. I'll show you that in a second. But here's what's happening. Your first finger goes on the 1st fret, 4th string. Your second finger right here goes on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Your 3rd finger goes on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And your pinky underneath it on the 1st string, 2nd fret. And this one you'll find a little harder to get clear and it takes a little more strength. But it's a great sounding chord. Now, if you struggle with that, again, watch your thumb. You know, I've got a really big hand. Look at the size of my hand, folks, okay? I have been playing the guitar for a long time, and I got a big hand. I could probably do this in some contorted manner, sleeping upside down in a bunk bed or something, and I could still get this chord because I played it for so long. After a little while, you train your hand, and your hand gets so accustomed to it, you don't think twice about it. It just goes there, right? And you find that sweet spot. But when you're first starting, it takes a lot of concentration. So I don't want you to get discouraged right away. I just want you to... but there is a simpler way to play this chord, but it doesn't sound as good because we can either play 3 strings like this. And I'd suggest if you're going to do that, to use the 3rd and 4th finger just so that later you can use the rest of your fingers to play the full chord. So it's basically part of the B7th that I was showing you the full one. And if you play the last 3 strings, then it's just 3rd finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and 1st finger on the 2nd fret, 1st string, and you strum only 3 strings. Which is kind of drag. It's not quite enough to make it a real nice sounding chord. Another way to get around it is to play the 4th string with your 1st finger. You know, you could do it this way, but then that gets you into a bad habit, right? If you use your 1st finger on the 4th string, 1st fret, and your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret, 1st string, this is a B7, a more simplified form, but it's still a problem because you're training yourself into a bad habit. I would say build up to it, start like I showed you with the 3 strings, get that down first. When you start to feel more comfortable, add the 4th string with your 1st finger on the 4th string, 1st fret, and then last but not least, the 2nd finger on the 5th string. And you can build up to that and you can practice changing from the E7 to the A7 to the B7, you know, back and forth. And get creative with it. Okay, last but not least is a 12 bar. 12 bars is not just for 12 bar blues or for the blues, but it is a common bar grouping. What that means, most of the 12 bar blues is in 4/4. We don't have any really strange stuff going on like 5/4 or 11/4, any really odd times. Sometimes we have 6/8, but that can be broken down into a 4/4 rhythm too, depending on how you count it. So most of the blues will be in a 4/4 type of rhythm. And the first thing I'll get you to do, well, is just understand the structure of it, right? So 12 bar is 12 bars of 4 counts. And you're going to have 4 bars of the 1 chord, 2 bars of the 4 chord, back to 2 bars of the 1 chord, and 1 bar of the 5 chord, 1 bar of the 4 chord, and 2 bars of the 1 chord. And usually there's some kind of little interesting ending, because that's what differentiates one 12 bar from another, a little turnaround or an ending. We'll get to that in a minute. What I'm saying to you is that really, to learn a 12 bar, learn it in 3 sections of 4 bars. This is the way to get it. 3 times 4 is 12. So the first 4 bars are just E7. Now if you're a total raw beginner, just count 4 for each bar, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, there's your first 4 bars. I'd strum it down. I'm strumming going 8th notes. And that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. And now we're going to go to 2 bars of the A7, which is our 4 change that I was talking about earlier. A is the 4th of E. E to A is 4 letter names. E, F, G, A. So A is the 4th. So now A for 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, or the 8th note strum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's going to be done for 2 bars. So if you do the 8th note strum, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Then it's got to go back to the E for 2 bars. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now for the last 4 bars. So the first 4 bars is just the E7th chord for 4 bars. The next 2 bars are A7th chord for 2 bars, E7th chord for 2 bars. Now in the last 4 bars, it's B7th for 1 bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and A7th for 1 bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and E7th for 2 bars, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's your 12 bar. So now we'll put it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bars of E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and now we're going to go to the change. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Back to the E for 2 bars. And here comes our toughest bars coming out, the B7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A7. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Happy playing, boys and girls. See you next time. It's Colin Daniel from Riff Ninja. Over and out.